That ball well to right field. It is
Adios,
high,
amigo.
It is far, and it is gone.
Holy cow.
Zane Harris crushed that one.
A long drive towards right center field, and it's gone in the trees.
Hit from Braithwaite. Swung on and missed, and the ball game is over. The Harbor Hawks have defeated the Katuitt Kettleers.
That one is a good long drive towards left field, and gone!
Hello and welcome inside the Harbor Hawk broadcast booth at McKeon Park. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill happy to be with you for another night of Harbor Hawks baseball. The Orleans Firebirds come to town for the first time. Lincoln, what can we expect for the 6 p.m. matchup?
Yeah, the Harbor Hawks with a little bit of a struggle in last night's game, 12-0 loss. The Firebirds, on the other hand, a strong team, especially at the plate. They're one of the hardest hitting teams in the league, a very dominant offensive team in the Firebirds. It should be a very interesting game tonight with Hunter Dula on the mound.
Yeah, speaking of dominance, you mentioned it. Hunter Dula on the hill tonight for the Harbor Hawks, and Dula has been one of the best for Hyannis this season. What do you expect to see from the right-hander Dula from Wingate?
As you mentioned, dominance. He's been electric so far this season in a couple of outings. He's definitely shown himself to be one of our top arms on the team, and he's just been electric. I'm looking forward to a big night from him tonight.
Caden Rose back in the leadoff spot tonight. He spent the last two games in the two-hole, but when he's playing leadoff, batting leadoff rather, he's been one of the most efficient players on this Harbor Hawk team. He's the team leader in on-base percentage. What do you expect tonight from Caden Rose? He's just been a pillar of consistency all season for Hyannis.
He has, and like you said, he leads the team in on-base percentage. He just finds ways to get on base any way he can. Even if it's not getting a hit, he finds ways to get on base and get RBIs across by letting the players behind him hit him around, and he just does a great job getting on base. Being in the lead spot, I think, is a great decision, and I think he's going to do big things.
First pitch at 6 p.m., Hyannis versus Orleans. We'll be back after the national anthem on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Almost ready for first pitch here at McKeon Park. Austin DeCouta, Lincoln Revill here with you in the broadcast booth as the Harbor Hawks get ready to take the field here at Judy Walden Scarefile Field. Let's go over the starting lineups tonight, starting with the Orleans Firebirds, who are visiting here at McKeon Park. Lincoln, who is in the lineup for Orleans?
Yeah, starting off for the Firebirds, we're going to have Peyton Chatinier. He'll be in the leadoff spot playing second base. Jared McKenzie following him, playing in left field. Connor Cox will be in center field tonight, and followed by Chase DeLauder, the right fielder. Tyler Locklear, the third baseman, will be batting in the 5-hole, followed by Matt Goodhart, the first baseman. Julio Marcano, the DH, will be in the 7-hole. He has a really strong bat coming from him. Garrett Gulamente will be in the catcher spot, and he'll be in the 8-hole, followed by Benjamin Blackwell, the shortstop, in the 9-hole, and then Donovan Benoit will be on the mound for the Firebirds tonight.
Thank you, Lincoln. Should be a solid night tonight as the Firebirds come into the ball game. Having some recent success, the team is 6-5-2 on the season. The Harbor Hawks 2-11. As you see the Harbor Hawks take the field, let's go over the Harbor Hawks starting defense for tonight. It's going to be Caleb Pendleton behind the plate, Luke Mann at third, Kyle Ball at short, Ryan Romano at second, Mason Greer at first. In right field, Clark Elliott, center field, Caden Rose, and in left, Mitchell Hardigan. And on the mound is Hunter Dula, making his third start of the season. The right-hander from Wingate has been probably the most impressive starting pitcher in the season for Hyannis. That's no slight to any of the other starting pitchers. He's just been phenomenal in his first two starts of the year. His most recent coming back last Wednesday against Falmouth was part of that 5-2 victory for the Harbor Hawks on the road, and Dula was just sensational in that outing.
Yeah, Dula in both of his outings so far, 7 full innings pitched, only allowed 4 hits in both of those, 1 run combined, only walked 2 when he struck out 10 so far on the season in just 2 starts. Very outstanding stuff from him so far this season.
The Harbor Hawks coming off of an unfortunate 12-0 loss in Brewster last night against the Whitecaps. The bats for Brewster were just on fire, and the Harbor Hawks ran into him at a bad time. Brewster hit 2 2-run home runs, and it's part of that 12-run rally. And unfortunately for Hyannis, they couldn't get the bats going, but there were some signs of positivity amongst the team as they didn't have an error in the field. They were pretty solid defensively all night, was Hyannis, and everyone's still playing hard. And that's one thing that, you know, when you're losing a game that big, you can see guys kind of mail it in a bit, Lincoln. But we don't see that from Hyannis. They're hustling down the line on pop-ups and ground-outs. They're still trying to make every play. We saw Kyle Ball make 2 diving plays at short, even when the team was down early. And it's a good sign to see that these guys are still playing their hardest here, even after a little bit of a slow start.
Yeah, lots of effort, lots of heart from this team. Definitely impressing the scouts that are here, showing them that they don't quit. And it's really just been outstanding watching them just keep on fighting, even when things get tough.
First pitch in just a moment as the leadoff man, Peyton Chatinier, gets ready to dig in. Chatinier starting at second base today for the Firebirds. Rising sophomore, an exercise science major at Ole Miss. He's from Cypress, Texas. Lincoln, anywhere close to where you're from?
I've heard of it. I think it's more down south. If I'm correct. I'm not really sure exactly where it is.
First pitch of the night from Dula is a called strike. The umpires tonight, James DeLauder behind the plate. Over at third is Ryan Damari, and at first, John Hitch.
Now, what I do know about the Cypress High School, the Cy-Fair High School to be exact, one of the largest, if not the largest, football stadium actually in the country.
Is it?
It's huge, absolutely massive stadium.
Dula already ahead 0-2 on the first batter he faces tonight. Important to get off to a good start for the Harbor Hawks. The 0-2 is hit well to left field. Back at the wall is Hardigan looking up, and it is gone. A leadoff home run from Peyton Chatinier, and the Harbor Hawks are down 1-0 on the first batter of the night.
Well, this isn't the first time that we've given up a leadoff home run, and
well, you're right, because Blake Klassen hit one here, and we won that game.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a game that the Harbor Hawks came back to win.
Yeah.
And it was just a pitch that hung a bit there from Dula, it looked like. And what's important is how you respond, what you do now in this at-bat.
Yeah. Now, what I will say is that Orleans coming in with some of the hottest bats in the league, actually the hottest bats in the league as a team, and they're showing it early here with that leadoff home run. They lead the league in home runs as a team.
That'll bring in Jared McKenzie, the left fielder. The 0-1 from Dula is a soft grounder up the middle. Kyle Ball to his left. The throw on the run is in time, and there's one away. An important bounce back at bat there as Dula retires the two-hitter for out number 1.
Yeah, that's how you come back after giving up that leadoff home run. A good little ground out there, and an impressive play coming in from Ball, making that throw on the run right above, actually right on top of second base, and a great catch over at first from Greer.
With one away in the inning, that brings up Connor Cox, the center fielder tonight. He's batting in the 3-hole for the Firebirds. He takes a strike, 0-1, and Dula is yet to throw a ball on the night. Fired 2 strikes and gave up the home run, fired a strike, gave up a hit that was, well, the ground ball up the middle, rather, that was turned into an out, and now 0-1 to Cox, the 0-1, fouled back 0-2, and Hunter Dula living in the strike zone early on.
Yeah, Dula's been very efficient in his past couple of outings. I mentioned his stats a little while ago. He really knows how to find every bit of the strike zone, knows how to work it, and he knows how to really make batters work for their hits.
Cox was in the lineup on July 5th at Brewster and went 1 for 5 in their most recent ball game, as that one sails for a ball, 1-2. The most recent game that he appeared in.
Cox actually having some difficulty at the plate in his last 3 games. He's been 2 for 14 at the plate.
The 1-2. That ball is hit well to left. Hardigan moving to his right on the run and makes the catch for out number 2. Showing good range in left field by Mitch Hardigan, an important out number 2 for Dula.
Yeah, another pretty long ball out to left field. Off the bat, it looked like it might be able to go the distance, but it ended up falling a little bit too short. Good job over there by Hardigan in left, being able to make that grab.
With 2 away, that brings in the cleanup hitter, Chase DeLauder. DeLauder gets the start in right field tonight. He's pitched in a couple of games this season. DeLauder is the Cape Cod leader with 5 home runs as well. The 0-1 pops out of the mitt of Pendleton for a ball, 1-1. DeLauder has pitched, as I mentioned, 2 shutout innings so far on the season. And he's also got the 5 home runs.
If I remember correctly, DeLauder actually had a 2 home run game not too long ago, just a few days ago actually.
The 1-1 from Dula, that misses for a ball, 2-1. A solo home run led off the ball game. Hunter Dula has retired the next 2 batters, looking to end the inning here with just the 1 run across. The 2-1. That ball is hit well to center field. Caden Rose is back on it. He puts his glove up, makes the catch to end the inning. So Dula bounces back and retires 3 straight. The Harbor Hawks down 1 early as we head to the bottom of the first. The Harbor Hawks coming up to bat here as we get ready for the bottom of the first inning. Taking a look at the Hyannis lineup as they get ready to take their first cuts of the night. Caden Rose back in the leadoff spot and playing center field tonight. Clark Elliott back in right field. He'll be batting second. Kyle Ball gets the start in the 3-hole in once again at shortstop. Marcos Pujols, the designated hitter, batting cleanup. Mason Greer in the 5-hole tonight and playing first base. Greer was 1 for 2 last night with a single and a double. Put some good swings on the ball. We'll see if it carries over into tonight's ball game. Caleb Pendleton, the catcher, batting 6. Batting 7 is Mitchell Hardigan. He's also playing the 7 position. That's left field. Batting 8 is Luke Mann, the third baseman. And batting 9 is Ryan Romano, the second baseman. And taking a look, Lincoln, at the defensive lineup tonight for the Firebirds. Who's in the field for them?
Yeah, Donovan Benoit, as I mentioned earlier, he's going to be on the mound for the Firebirds. Garrett Guillemette behind the dish, followed by going from left to right across the infield. Tyler Locklear over at third, followed by Benjamin Blackwell at short. Peyton Chatinier over at second base, and then Matt Goodhart over at first, and then left to right once again in the outfield. Jared McKenzie over in left, Connor Cox in center, and then that's going to be Chase DeLauder out in right field.
Caden Rose swings at the first pitch. He sees a diving play by Chatinier, but he overshoots the throw, and it gets to the backstop, so Rose is safe. Would have been a tough play. We'll see if it's going to be ruled as a hit. It will. So Rose reaches base safely, and immediately after being reinserted into the leadoff spot, he's paying dividends right away.
Yeah, that was going to be a fantastic play by Chatinier over at second base. He had time to make the throw over. He kind of rushed it a little bit as he was still off balance whenever he tried to make the throw, and sort of bringing some submarine action from his arm, and it ended up proving to be a little too much as that was thrown over the head of Goodhart.
In step Clark Elliott, the right fielder tonight. Elliott in his third game of the season. He was activated on July 4th, made his first career Cape League start on July 5th, and he started last night in Brewster, still searching for his first hit of the summer. Still a newbie. Takes a while to get ramped up, and we talked to manager Gary Calhoun before the game, and the transition from metal to wood bats is an incredibly difficult one. And for Elliott, he comes in at an awkward time, for somebody to come in and jump onto the plate here, because you look at it, and a lot of these guys spend the first week or two adjusting. The pitchers adjust too, so they might not be, locating their pitches as well. So Elliott comes in about 2.5, 3 weeks in. So these pitchers have adjusted. So now he's coming in against a bunch of adjusted pitchers, and now he's going to take some time to adjust. So it's not easy. It's very difficult to come in during the season. Yeah,
it's very interesting that basically the day after he's activated, he's already in the leadoff spot, and it's kind of expected that he still hasn't had that first hit yet, as he just started with the team 3 days ago. So it's like you said, it's going to take some time to adjust to that heavier bat, a little bit of a deader bat. So going to take a little bit of time.
Donovan Benoit making his second start of the season, his fourth appearance this year for the Firebirds, as Rose goes and it's Clark swinging at the pitch. He grounds it foul. The count evens up at 2-2. Benoit on the season has fired 8 1/3 innings, 8 hits, 7 earned runs, 3 walks, 13 strikeouts. So for the Harbor Hawks, the stat sheet on Benoit is encouraging for a team that has struggled a bit to score runs lately. They've gotten some base runners on as of late. See if they can put it all together tonight here.
Yeah, Benoit, there's some high numbers, his hits and runs, giving up 3 walks, 13 strikeouts. So like you said, some encouraging numbers for the Harbor Hawks. Chance to get some good hits here and some runs.
The 2-2 to Elliott. Misses for a ball, 3-2. Good take there by Clark Elliott. Caden Rose has good speed on the base pass. He's 3 for 4 in stolen base attempts on the season, so he's somebody to keep an eye on over at first base as he gets his lead. Benoit working from the stretch early after the leadoff single by Rose. The 3-2, Rose goes. Elliott takes a called strike 3 to throw to second, not in time, as Caden Rose steals his 4th bag of the season.
A good pitch there from Benoit, barely touching the outside corner of the plate. And I don't think Elliott thought it was in the zone. It was just touching that outside bit. So a close call, but definitely a good pitch there from Benoit.
Home plate umpire John DeLatta thought it was in the zone enough to ring Elliott up for out number 1. Rose in scoring position here as the Harbor Hawks look to get back that first run of the ball game, as it was a solo shot by Peyton Chatinier to lead off the ball game, the Firebirds second baseman, as Kyle Ball checks his swing. They'll say he went around, 0-1 the count. Ball had a couple of fantastic plays at shortstop last night for the Harbor Hawks. He's yet to make an error in 12 games played over at short. Rose gets his lead from second. Benoit comes set. The 0-1 is a swing and a miss at another pretty solid breaking pitch. Ball is behind 0-2 in the count.
Ball knows how to make contact at the plate. He's having a swing at that outside pitch, just missing for contact, but he knows how to make contact, so that's the important thing.
The 0-2 is taken for a ball in the dirt. Rose thought about moving up, but he'll head back to second. Ball making his 12th or 13th start of the year, rather. All of them at shortstop, and Ball's favorite player is Xander Bogaerts, another shortstop. He's from New Hampshire, so a big Red Sox fan. Bogaerts, the American League All-Star starting shortstop, so a good guy to look up to. Bogaerts and Devers, both from the Red Sox, starting for the American League, shortstop and third base, respectively. The count 1-2 to Kyle Ball. Benoit comes set, he comes home. And a slow swing by Ball as he just fouls off the breaking pitch and stays alive once more.
Yeah, he seemed kind of hesitant to swing at that pitch, but good job being able to foul it off and look for that next pitch coming up.
Kyle Ball in his second summer playing for manager Calhoun, as he spent the summer of 2019 with Calhoun up at the Keene Swamp Bats as part of the NECBL. Ball and Ryan Romano both played for Calhoun that summer of 2019. They come here with their former skipper for this summer in the Cape League. Benoit comes set. The 1-2. Rose is off to third. The pitch is taken for a ball to throw, not in time, and Caden Rose moves up 90 feet for now his 5th stolen base of the season. Two in the inning.
Doing a great job on the base path and stealing third. Not an easy task, especially at this level. Great job being able to get there before the tag.
So the tying run in scoring position with one away. If you're Kyle Ball, you're looking to put a ball in play. The infield is not playing in here. The count 2-2, the pitch. Popped foul again. Kyle Ball staying alive, fighting off another. A tough at-bat here.
Yeah, big at-bat here. That tying run is at the plate. And if you can bring that run across, a brand-new ball game. Still very early, only the bottom of the first right now. But if you can tie this game, bring that momentum back for the Harbor Hawks.
Benoit comes set. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Ball goes down swinging for out number 2.
Good breaking ball at 83 miles an hour there from Benoit, and just a little too much for Ball. He couldn't come up with the hit there, and that's out number 2.
At the least, you're making Benoit throw some pitches, though. Early on, he has 15 pitches thrown so far. That brings up Marcos Pujols, the DH, the team leader in RBI, and he has RBI number 6 waiting for him over at third base. If he can put a ball in play here, would have to get to base safely, though, with 2 away. First pitch to Pujols as he swings and misses at a breaking ball. That's a pretty nasty pitch. You can't tell if it's a slider or a curve, but it's dipping down below the zone at 85 miles per hour pretty consistently.
Yeah, that's a very good pitch there, and Pujols wanted to take that one for a long ride, a big swing coming from him there, but he couldn't connect with it.
Pujols hitting .243 on the season. He did have a hit in last night's ball game at Brewster, one of the 2 hits in that game. We know how much power he has. His 1 homer on the season was here at McKeon Park, a 3-run shot against the Falmouth Commodores just about a week or 2 ago, week and a half about. The 1-1 to Pujols. That ball is skied to center field and pretty well struck high and deep to the warning track, and it is gone! Marcos Pujols, a 2-run home run, and he puts the Harbor Hawks back on top by a score of 2-1.
Well, like you said, Austin, we've seen the power from Pujols this season, and my, oh my, what a beautiful hit that was, right towards center field. At least 390 feet, that 390 marker out in center field. Just a magnificent piece of hitting from Pujols, and the Harbor Hawks take the lead.
And Lincoln, off the bat, that ball didn't look like it was really going to go. I mean, it just kept carrying, and it eventually ended up pretty deep into the woods.
Yeah, it did, and One thing I've seen from Pujols, especially in the past few games, when he swings, he has that sort of elevated swing. He brings the bat up at an angle a little bit. And so when he makes solid contact with that pitch, it's going to definitely go long and it's going to go far. And we saw a good example of that right there.
That'll bring up Mason Greer, who's behind in the count 0-2 now after that swing. Greer had a solid game last night, made some good plays at third base. Also had a hit and a walk in that ball game. He's putting together some better swings as of late. Benoit comes set, adjusts his glove, the 0-2. Breaking ball that misses outside the count 1-2 to Mason Greer.
Now taking a quick look at this matchup here, the Firebirds and Harbor Hawks, one of two games going on tonight. The Harbor Hawks currently in last place in the West at 2-11. Meanwhile, the Firebirds in third place with a 6-5-2 record.
As Greer goes down, he checked his swing, but he did not hold up in time as they ring him up. We're going to head down to our sideline reporter, Taylor Farmer, who caught up with manager Gary Calhoun before the game. Let's check out Taylor's interview with the coach.
Coach Calhoun, a bit of a rough start to the season. How are you keeping the attitudes positive on your team?
Well, just obviously telling them that, hey, you just got to keep playing. And when you play every day, things like this can happen. Of course, I can't say that I've experienced it too often, but I have experienced it, so it's tough. None of us try to lose or try to throw a ball or try to miss strike three. And if we can just rectify the first pitch strike thought process and being a tough out, things will change because it's baseball. And I think for the most part, I haven't seen too many negative vibes from these guys. They've been really good, and they're going to give the effort needed to try to accomplish that.
Right, so what's the focal point for tonight and as the season progresses?
Well, I think it's just to think about ourselves more so than the opponent and try to do those things. And the pitchers that we have throwing tonight, and they see the other guys doing what they do, and sometimes they've had those nights as well. But for the most part, yeah, they'll focus. Our first guy tonight, Dula, he's usually throws strikes, and he'll give us a good start. And the hitters, actually, even though the hits didn't show it last game, we improved being tougher outs. We just need to do more of that, and we're trying to do that in our BPs, etc. And I think they'll do it. Again, we've got, 20-something games, 30 games left? 29 or 28, something like that. So there's time to do it. It's a matter of staying focused and not thinking about the win or the loss.
So what are you telling these guys as they go out there tonight? Just your message to the team.
Do your best to just have a good time and be a tough out if you're hitting, and throw a first pitch strike if you're pitching. It's as simple as that. When you throw it across the plate and you make contact, the game's usually in your favor, and that's what we're going to try to do.
Right, well, good luck tonight. Thanks. Here at McKeon Park, alongside Coach Calhoun, I'm Taylor Farmer, Harbor Hawks Baseball.
Back here for the top of the second inning, Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill with you as the Harbor Hawks lead the Firebirds by a score of 2-1, thanks to a 2-run home run off the bat of Marcos Pujols, his second home run of the season. Hunter Dula back on the hill here for his second inning of work. He's behind in the count 2-0 to Tyler Locklear, the third baseman for tonight's ball game for the Firebirds. The 2-0 from Dula. Misses inside, ball three, in danger of walking the leadoff man here in the top of the second. And a walk, something Dula does not issue very often. He's been one of the best at throwing strikes this season for the Harbor Hawks. Dula only issued 2 walks in 7 innings so far. Finds the zone with the strike there. The 3-1. That ball is hit down the right field line off towards the woods behind the first base dugout and out of play for strike 2.
Good job there from Dula. He's fought back in the count and now bringing up a full count after going down 3-0 in the count. Just coming back, finding his groove once again. Now the count's full.
Locklear has some pop, 4 home runs on the season. The 3-2. Fouled off Caleb Pendleton. That one's going to sting a bit as it caught him without any padding. It looks like off the side of the ankle. Weird angle for that one to hit, or the foot there.
And Locklear once again getting bruised up and battered behind the plate.
Pendleton shakes it off as he gets back in the crouch as he's ready here for the 3-2 once more. Dylan Post got the start behind the dish for the Harbor Hawks last night. He was relieved late in the ball game by Ryan Proto. The count 3-2 to Locklear. The windup and the pitch. Ground ball to first, and that's going to get through for a base hit just in between the hole between first and second base. Good piece of hitting by Locklear to shorten up with 2 strikes and take it the other way for a leadoff single.
Yeah, good piece of hitting there from Locklear, just being able to take that ball to the opposite field in between the gap between that first and second base spot. Just a good piece of hitting there.
Nobody out in the inning. The leadoff man on first. Matt Goodhart digs in. Goodhart over at first base tonight. That misses for a ball, 1-0 the count. Goodhart, 2 for 9 on the season, limited at bats for him. He has walked 6 times. Digs in from the left side. That bat moves around pretty aggressively. Misses for a ball, 2-0. Dula falling behind the first 2 batters of this inning. But he's been effective so far in this ball game. Besides the solo shot to lead it off, he came back, bared down, and got the next 3.
And I have to say, like you said, he's been behind in the past couple of at-bats. He started behind, that is. But I will say, as long as you make the batters work for their hits instead of just giving them those 4-pitch walks like we saw a few of last night, making them work for their time on base, really just it's a big improvement, really.
Dula behind 3-0 to Goodhart. That will prompt a visit from the catcher, Pendleton. Quiet night at the ballpark. A good crowd in attendance. Once again, as has been the normal this season at McKeon Park, the bleachers are full around the ballpark. The 3-0. Ball 4 just off the outside part of the plate, so it's a walk there to Goodhart. So that puts runners on first and second now with still nobody out.
Hey, you know what this is, Austin? This is actually, in my opinion, a pretty good situation. Just more opportunity to get an out here is now third base becomes an option for an out. Infield fly roll now comes into effect. Lots of places to get that first out here, possibly a double play as well.
See what Dula can do. He's got the infield to turn that double play. Luke Mann, one of the best gloves in the league at third base, and we've seen Kyle Ball and Romano turn double plays before. First pitch there to Julio Marcano was a called strike, 0-1 the count.
Julio Marcano, the senior at the New Jersey Institute of Technology, along with his twin brother David Marcano. Julio actually the younger sibling out of the 2, just 5 minutes younger than David.
The 0-1 to Marcano. An off-speed pitch fouled back off Pendleton. Caleb Pendleton taking a minute to recover. We're going to take a brief break here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. We'll be back in a moment. Back here as Caleb Pendleton is okay behind the plate, ready to go once again. Count 0-2 to Julio Marcano. The pitch from Dula. Just misses low for a ball. 0-2, 77 miles per hour on the pitch. Dula has a real good pitch mix and good different speeds on those pitches. We were joined by Matt Daly earlier in the week, a former Harbor Hawk, a pitcher who had thrown a no-hitter here for Hyannis back in 2007. And Daly talked about that, how important it is to have different speeds on your pitches and keep the hitters off balance. Dula does just that.
Yeah, definitely. And like you mentioned, how important it is. One person that comes to mind thinking of those different pitches, I mentioned this earlier on in the season, actually, one of the first games, but Sandy Koufax, one of the all-time greats, really. He had different names for his different fastballs that he threw because he put different spins on them, different speeds on them, so he had different names for all of his fastballs that he used, not just pitches.
Yeah, the movement, the speed, that's what's key. I mean, most guys at even this level, if it's a 94-mile-per-hour fastball just straight, they can hit that. If it's coming right at you, they're used to that. They can time that up, but you put a little bit of sink on it or some cut to it, and that's when it becomes difficult to hit.
Exactly. That's what makes the honestly the two-seamer, although it's the speed of a fastball, but that inside to out movement on it, or I guess it depending on the side of the batter it is, but that little tail of movement makes it such a hard pitch to hit. Especially
if you're a right-handed hitter and it's a right-handed pitcher, as it tails toward you, or vice versa, left-handed pitcher, left-handed hitter, as it just comes in on you. That's a recipe for a broken bat many times, or just a weak grounder off your own foot. The 2-2 misses low. The count has moved to full at 3-2.
Now what you don't want to do here is you don't want to walk Marcano after being ahead 0-2. You don't want to give him a free base and let him win this battle here. Marcano originally from Katy, Texas. Katy, actually, who just won a football state championship back in the Lone Star State. Yeah.
The 3-2 is ball four. Marcano walks to load the bases, so that puts Locklear on third after his leadoff single, Goodhart on second after his walk, and now Marcano on first after his walk. That's going to bring up the catcher, Garrett Guillemette. Guillemette on the season. 4 for 21 with 2 homers, 4 RBI. Dula's going to go from the windup with the bases juiced. He fires a fastball for a called strike, 0-1.
Yeah, now the tension gets a little bit higher. Nobody out, bases are loaded, a chance for the Firebirds to really get some RBI here, and that's one thing that the Harbor Hawks do not want.
The 0-1 from Dula is blocked by Pendleton. Good stop there by the catcher on a breaking pitch low. What you can't afford is a pass ball or a wild pitch here.
Yeah, definitely not.
Especially if that's just a free run. But Pendleton is one of the best backstops in the league behind the dish. The infield does not play in here with nobody out. Then you can get those. If you can give up 1 run and get 2 outs, you might take it in this situation. They play double play depth. The 1-1 to Guillemette is lined softly to short. It's going to be Greer, and it goes by Greer's glove into left field for might be an error. We'll see what they rule it officially, but a run does come home. Softly hit ball. And it will be ruled an error on Greer at third. As the run comes home. That brings in Locklear.
Now that's where that home run from Pujols back last inning comes at such an important time, as instead of the Firebirds taking another lead, now we just have a tie game, and it's a even matchup for both teams once again.
We're all back to even, as you said, Lincoln, which for the Harbor Hawks, you'll take it in this scenario for now. I mean, you were down 1-0 early, and then the Pujols home run was key. Now knotted up at 2. But it's good to see some early offense from Hyannis. Benjamin Blackwell, the shortstop at the plate, the 9-hitter. The 1-0 misses for a ball. The count 2-0 to Blackwell. On the season, batting .167 with 1 RBI, 3 walks. The Osprey flying over McKeon Park here. In this gray, gloomy night as the ball goes just past Blackwell. Nice fastball there by Dula. I'm sorry, it was Luke Mann at third base who had the error, not Mason Greer. My apologies, that was Mann. at third. Greer was at third last night. He's over at first tonight. The 2-1. Fastball just goes by Blackwell. Count evens up at 2-2. Important pitch up coming here from Dula as he looks to work his way out of trouble.
Strikeout here would be huge. That first out, and then possibly open the way up for a double play to end the inning.
The windup and the pitch. That ball is lined to center field. Caden Rose on the run. It's going to drop for a base hit. 1 run scores. They're going to hold Marcano at third. So it's an RBI single off the bat of Blackwell. And that puts the Firebirds back on top. It's 3-2.
Good piece of hitting from Blackwell. Just a key hit there for the Firebirds. Just far enough from Rose where he couldn't make the catch for out number 1. And the Firebirds take the lead once again.
That is going to prompt a mound visit from pitching coach Ray Korn. 3 runs, 3 hits home. Or 3 hits and no errors for Orleans. 2 runs, 2 hits, 1 error for Hyannis. The bases are still loaded. Nobody out here. We're back to the top of the order with Peyton Chatinier due up. He led off the game with that solo home run. As there is action in the Harbor Hawk bullpen, a right-hander getting loose.
Yeah, that's number 38, Marc Adamiak, getting ready to come in relief.
See if Dula can work his way out of it. The solo home run was really the one of 2 hard-hit balls off of him. In that single to center, probably the second.
Yeah, there have been a couple of hard-hit balls off of Dula tonight, but still, they're pop-outs. That, well, a couple have been. Besides that home run, the rest have been pop-outs, and that's what you want from a pitcher like Dula. When he can't strike batters out, he's able to get them to pop up or ground out, and that's what you really want from a batter or from a pitcher, just able to get outs any way they can.
Peyton Chatinier getting ready to take his second at-bat of the night as he takes a called strike. He blasted his third home run of the season to left field to lead off the ball game. The Firebirds in their road red vests, the black undershirts, the white pants, and a lot of the guys sporting red cleats.
They're beautiful. I love those uniforms, honestly, for the Firebirds. Brand new uniforms, too. They just got them this season, actually.
They look very sharp, as do the Hyannis home whites. The white on white with the orange lettering, the blue caps. And Dula, after that mound visit from Korn, has thrown 2 straight strikes, both on his breaking ball. So getting back to that off-speed pitch. The count 0-2 to Chatinier. Dula gets the sign from Pendleton. The 0-2. Misses high for a ball, 1-2. Not a bad idea if you can get him to chase, just too far high and outside on that one.
Now, Chatinier in his first game for the Firebirds at Eldridge Park had a grand slam in that game. That was his one home run of the 2 he has on the season so far.
Dula gets Chatinier fishing at a breaking ball for out number 1, an important out number 1, as that retires the second baseman. Dula can breathe just a bit, but he's not completely out of this inning yet, as there's 1 away still with the number 2 hitter, McKenzie, back up. He grounded out to shortstop back in last inning, the top of the first. Double play is in order here. First pitch to McKenzie. Called strike on the outside part of the plate. A 92-mile-per-hour fastball from Dula. 45th pitch of the night upcoming here for Hunter Dula. The 0-1. Good pitch by Dula. Off speed on the outside part of the plate, and he's ahead 0-2. So that mound visit seemed to have straightened out Dula just a bit.
McKenzie coming from Round Rock, Texas. Graduating from Round Rock High School, actually, home of the Round Rock Dragons. And he currently at Baylor University in Waco, Texas.
The 0-2 is a pop-up out of play. You have a very, very good amount of players in this league coming from Texas.
You do, yeah. Texas honestly known for giving out good football players, really, but baseball also a big sport down in the Lone Star State.
2 professional baseball teams in the state, the Astros and Rangers, and you're a Rangers fan.
I am big-time Rangers fan. Yeah, we're struggling right now, but Joey Gallo just got selected for the home run derby.
Pitch in the dirt gets by Pendleton, so a run's going to score. The Firebirds add another. It's 4-2. Tough pitch there. Just a little bit too low off the shin guard of Pendleton. For the Rangers, you have Gallo, Gibson, and Arcia. Is that 3 or?
Yeah,
Garcia.
Yeah, Garcia, in my opinion, got ripped off of a starting spot.
He's had a phenomenal season for a guy at 28 years old, breaking out a little bit late in his career, but good to see. The Rangers getting 3 All-Stars. That's going to get their fans excited as that one misses by Dula for a ball, 1-2. Luke Mann, the third baseman for Hyannis, doesn't necessarily have a favorite team, he said, but if you had to pick one, it'd probably be the Rangers.
Nice. I like that. I like it. The good Texas team, as I call them.
The non-cheaters.
Exactly.
The count 2-2 to McKenzie. That just misses outside. Count is full, 3-2.
Yeah, basically, as long as you don't choose the Astros or the Yankees, I can be friends with you, pretty much.
That's fair, and I think that will work up here in New England as well.
Yeah. Red Sox fans, I don't think, Yankees definitely no-go.
Not as much as it used to be. The rivalry's kind of simmered down a little bit, but the 3-2 from Dula is a weak grounder to second. Romano picks it. He will not go home. The flip on to first is in time for out number 2. Smart decision by Ryan Romano. It would have been a close play at the plate.
Yeah, that would have been cutting it a little too close had he chosen to go home there, but a good job choosing to go to the sure out at first base.
So another run comes home on the RBI ground out by McKenzie. Firebirds lead it 5-2. 5 runs on 3 hits, no errors for the Firebirds. 2 runs, 2 hits, 1 error for Hyannis. Connor Cox back at the dish. The center fielder, that one is an off-speed pitch that just nicks him on the shoulder. So Cox reaches on a hit by pitch, which puts runners on the corners now with 2 away.
Oh, and it looks like we're going to have a pitching change here. Here comes Gary Calhoun, the manager for the Harbor Hawks, and he points to the bullpen, and that's going to do it for Dula.
So unfortunately for Hunter Dula, it was not the most effective start. We saw some flashes of improvement, but I mean, he was not able to get out of the second inning here, and it's a little bit disappointing for Dula, who has been the best starter in Hyannis so far this season. So a pitching change here as Marc Adamiak jogs in. He's going to take some warm-up pitches, and we'll be back to see that in just a moment on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Back here as Marc finishes his warm-up tosses and gets ready to try to get the final out of this top of the second inning. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill here with you to bring you some Harbor Hawks baseball on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network. Brings up DeLauder, the right fielder. He flew out to center field to end the top of the first inning.
DeLauder, the last batter in the lineup that has not had an at-bat, that is, in this second inning.
That one is lined to right field for a base hit for DeLauder. It's going to get to the wall. A run's going to score. They're going to hold up Cox, rather, as that ball gets away from Romano on the throw in. They'll send Cox now, so it's a double that brings home 2 for Chase DeLauder as the Firebirds tack on 2 more. It's 7-2.
And this is not what the Harbor Hawks would have wanted in this inning. Definitely not. It's the hits. The Firebirds just proving how they're one of the most offensive teams in the league, scoring 6 runs so far just in this second inning.
So an RBI single from Chase DeLauder, but an error on the throw in. E9 on Clark Elliott. Brings home the second run. So the Firebirds have now batted around in Lincoln for the second consecutive night. We have to cross off some numbers on the scorebook. Tyler Locklear back at the plate. That one misses inside. 1-1 the count to Locklear, who singled and scored earlier this inning. Led off the inning with that base hit between first and second. The Harbor Hawks offense showed some signs of positivity in the bottom of the first, so maybe they can pick things up here after Adamiak gets out of this. The 1-1 misses for a ball, 2-1 the count.
Yeah, I will say, at this point, we're not out of the game yet. We've seen some big innings from the Harbor Hawks, including that 4-run inning from last week in Falmouth, and actually Dula's last start. And so we've seen some bits of huge offense from the Harbor Hawks. Maybe we could get some tonight.
They are capable of putting up runs in bunches. Adamiak's going to look back. DeLauder to second. 6 runs have come home here in the top of the second inning. Adamiak comes set, 2-1 the count as he stares down DeLauder at second. That one's popped up by Locklear. Pendleton over to give it a look as Greer's got the best play on it, but it drops just a couple feet in front of him. Tough play to make. It's going to drop harmlessly and go out of play. The ball is especially tough to see with the gray, overcast skies tonight.
Yeah, gray skies, the mist coming in here at McKeon Park. As we know, now I guess it's going to be Tropical Storm Elsa by the time it gets here tomorrow.
It should. So it's,
yeah.
I think it'll land up here, I guess, or work its way up here rather.
Yeah, I know
tomorrow overnight, or overnight tonight into tomorrow.
I know we're supposed to get a lot of rain tomorrow. I saw some predictions of up to an inch of rain in places.
We'll see what happens. Things can change on a dime up here in New England. We are scheduled to take on the Bourne Braves tomorrow in Bourne for a 6 p.m. first pitch. You can check the Harbor Hawks Twitter pages, Facebook, Instagram for updates if that game does get canceled or postponed. The count is 2-2 with 2 away to Locklear. Adamiak comes set. He comes home with the 2-2. Check swing, see if he went around. They'll check at first, and Joe Hilton says no, he did not. That gets a groan from the home supporters here. The count moves to full.
I will say it was a close call. He almost looked like he went around, at least from up here, kind of, but I guess it just held up just a bit in time.
Adamiak confirms the sign that Pendleton put down, comes set. The 3-2. Called strike 3. The inning is over. Good pitch by Adamiak. The Harbor Hawks coming up to bat in just a moment on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Caleb Pendleton set to lead us off here in the bottom of the second inning. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill in the broadcast booth. Lincoln, a cloudy, gray, overcast night with some mist, and the Harbor Hawks are chasing the Firebirds 7-2. But it's a good night for baseball.
It is, yeah. It's not an unfamiliar sight, the overcast skies with a little bit of mist coming down. We've seen quite a few days like that so far, but still, it is misting, as we said, not hard enough to really do anything. So it's still a great night.
Pendleton hit that ball well to short, but unfortunately for him, Blackwell was there to catch it, so it's out number 1. That brings up Mitch Hardigan, the left fielder, for the first time in this ball game. He had the day off last night in Brewster. We've seen Hardigan in both left and right field this season. Benoit back on the hill for his second inning of work as he works out of the stretch. Allowed the 2-run home run to Marco Spoolhouse in the bottom of the second inning. The Harbor Hawks have put the ball in play off of him, as Hardigan lines that one straight back off the netting for strike 1. Interestingly enough, the 3 outs in the bottom of the first were all by way of the strikeout. For Hyannis, a team who has had a little bit of trouble with strikeouts recently, but they're starting to turn things around a bit here tonight. 27th pitch right here from Benoit is fouled off by Hardigan. The count goes to 1-2.
Hardigan sporting a 171 average on the season, 1 RBI, and a 209 on-base percentage. So he's found a way to get on base a few times this season so far.
He takes a called strike 3 as a breaking ball freezes him on the outside corner for out number 2.
Hardigan, his 16th strikeout on the season, and a beautiful pitch it was from Benoit, touching that inside corner. Just a beautiful third strike for that second out.
It's a tough pitch for left-handed hitters because you give up on it. You know, it starts in the right-handed hitter's batting box and comes on that outside corner and just kind of freezes you a bit. Luke Mann steps in for the first time. He swings up the first pitch and fouls it back. 95 miles per hour on the fastball, the hardest pitch we've seen tonight from Donovan Benoit. The lights are on here at McKeon. A good amount of fans in attendance once again has been the normal this season for Hyannis. Near the top of the league in attendance on a regular game basis. Count is 1-1 to Luke Mann.
Yeah, we've wasn't it just the last home game a couple days ago where we had, what was it, 3,000 in attendance reportedly?
It was a good amount. I don't remember the exact number, but it was up there. That misses for a ball. 2-1 the count.
And I'm sure I think the last time it was reported we were the second team in the league, probably behind the Chatham Anglers. Chatham bringing out a sold-out crowd a few times this season, especially whenever we played there.
It's good to see fans getting out, getting back to the ballparks after the 2020 season. There was no baseball down the Cape. 2-2, 2 away. And for those of you who have followed the broadcast all season, you know what that means. Lincoln grabs his lucky hat, and it's a tradition that with 2-2 and 2 outs, you shake the hat for good luck for the home team, or the team that we broadcast for, being the Harbor Hawks.
Yeah, exactly.
Benoit comes set. The 2-2 to Luke Mann. Can't connect on an off-speed pitch for out number 3, and the inning is over. The Harbor Hawks go down in order. We head to the top of the third on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Back here from the top of the third inning at McKeon Park, Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill here with you in the broadcast booth as the Orleans Firebirds get ready to come to the plate. 7-2, the Firebirds lead the Harborhawks. Lincoln, the Harborhawks got off to a decent start offensively, a 2-run home run by Marcos Pujols in the bottom of the first, but unfortunately, the Firebirds plated 6 runs in the top of the second.
Yeah, in tonight's game, one thing we haven't seen a whole lot has been those runs coming across early in the game, and we started off perfectly tonight, taking a 2-1 lead after that home run from Pujols back in the bottom of the first. But since then, the bats have been kind of quiet, although it is only the third inning, but in that second, went down in order, 1, 2, 3, and I'm hoping that we can have a little bit more of an early break here before the latter innings start coming up.
Marc back on the hill for the Harborhawks. He came in to relieve the starter Hunter Dula. Matt Goodhart back at the plate for his second plate appearance of the night. He walked and scored last inning, the top of the second. Goodhart gets the start today at first base for the Firebirds. Has some good pop from the left-handed hitter's batter box, the 1-1. Misses outside. It was a changeup, but couldn't find the zone. 2-1 the count. Adamiak, an avid MLB The Show player, along with his roommates Dom Johnson and Angus McCloskey. Count is 2-1 to Goodhart, the pitch. That misses high, a fastball, couldn't find the zone, 3-1.
Yeah, I was talking with a few players before the start of today's game, and they were actually saying that with the rain coming into tomorrow, their early day activity is most definitely, a quote, most definitely MLB The Show. It's going to be a nice day for it.
I'll be right there with them. Could be an off day tomorrow for all of us.
Now, on the show, whenever you're just playing a regular old pickup game, right? When it's not Diamond Dynasty or anything like that, random guess, your team, the Phillies, right?
It is. I mean, I have to. I can't say I'm a Phillies fan and then go use somebody else, even if the other team's better. I mean, I like to think that if I throw Aaron Nola or Zach Wheeler, you can have some success in any ball game. So.
Yeah, and I will say, in a game like the show, it's not how bad the team is. It's just like it doesn't depend on the team. It depends on the player, really.
You know, you can win games with the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, exactly. You can win games with the Rangers, even though they're one of the worst teams.
The 3-2 from Adamiak misses for ball 4. Tough pitch there to lay off by Goodhart, but he does and draws his second walk in as many plate appearances.
Adamiak barely missing the zone there, but it just didn't find that little black bit on the corner of the plate, and that was a freebie for Goodhart with one away. No outs, actually. The thing from the end of the second inning coming back to haunt me a little bit.
That'll bring up Julio Marcano. Marcano walked and scored in that second inning as well. Gets the start at DH today. One player missing tonight from the Harborhawk lineup is Dom Johnson. As it seems like the Harborhawks finally get their outfielders some days off. Since Clark Elliott joined the team, we saw Hardigan get the day off yesterday. Johnson gets a chance to take a seat today. Caden Rose might be wondering when his chance is, as he's started all 14 games so far. That pitch in the dirt gets away from Pendleton, so Goodhart advances to second on the wild pitch. Runner in scoring position now for the Firebirds with nobody out.
Pendleton doing his best to get in front of that one. He did a good job lunging over to the side to try to grab it, but it ended up being just a bit too far for him. He got a piece of it, but it ended up bouncing the way he didn't want it to go.
Count 1-1 to Marcano. There is action in the Firebird bullpen. There's a couple of relievers are stretching, standing around as that one's grounded back to Adamiak. He freezes the runner at second, throws to first for out number 1. A fundamental play by Adamiak.
Good job to pick that one out of the air. And an even better job being able to stop Goodhart from extending over. He's staying over at second base. And just a good play overall.
That'll bring up Garrett Guillemette with one away in the inning, the catcher. He reached on an error and scored in the second inning as part of that 6-run rally. First pitch from Adamiak to Guillemette. Misses low for a ball, 1-0 the count. Adamiak can touch up to 94 on the fastball we've seen so far this season. And the Harborhawk bullpen, Lincoln, does have a good group of power arms.
They do, yeah. Lots of, especially what we saw against our last win at Falmouth just a few days ago. Some very good arms coming out of the bullpen there. Some great pitchers able to really pound that zone.
Today, the Harbor Hawks have the unusual Thursday game.
Yeah,
Usually this is the day off.
Yeah, one of 2 games going on today.
The other is YD versus Harwich. That'll be a 7 p.m. start under the lights.
Right now, yeah, it's
So,
exactly 7 o'clock now.
They're getting underway as we speak. The 1-1 is a nasty breaking pitch from Adamiak that gets Guillemette swinging 1-2 the count.
A hefty swing there. He was looking to take that one yard, but it just couldn't find it, couldn't make contact.
Quiet night here. Although the crowd is sizable, not a ton of noise coming from the stands. The count 1-2. No wind virtually here. Lincoln, the flag has not moved in the last inning or so. The 1-2 from Adamiak is popped foul out of play. We'll hold where we are at 1-2.
And now I will say, like you said, the flag standing still out there by the scoreboard out in right field. And it's kind of it's not really a clear view out there. The mist is really starting to sort of impede on the view out there in the outfield.
Not quite as tough of a view as we might see in Chatham where the fog rolls in. There has been fog postponements in Chatham, and they used to. Now, Lincoln, if the game was in jeopardy of being postponed, they'd hit infield pop-ups to one player on each team and see if they could field it to decide if they needed to hold off because of the fog.
Yeah, fog postponement's something that I haven't heard of.
No.
Honestly, not on a regular basis. At least you might get one every once in a while.
And
but Chatham being able to like get those on a regular basis, that's kind of unusual.
there's not too many pro teams or teams at this level that I don't think that will ever happen to. Not too many teams play on the water like the anglers do right in Chatham. Not too far, just probably a mile or so from the ocean. The count is 2-2 on Guillemette. The pitch from Adamiak is popped up a mile high behind first base. Mason Greer stumbles, but it's Romano calling him off and making the catch as the runner thought about tagging from second, but he'll hold there. So there's 2 away.
Romano over at second, coming over quite a long ways to make that grab just behind first base. It's not as long as we've seen him hustle a few times this season, but good job being able to get the better angle on that than Greer and make the sure out.
Benjamin Blackwell digs in for the second time. The shortstop had an RBI single in the top of the second inning. He also scored a run. The Firebirds sent 10 batters to the plate in that top of the second. 6 of them came home. As Blackwell takes the first pitch from Adamiak for a ball, 1-0. So, Lincoln, we've been to almost every field so far. We have not been to Orleans yet, and Yarmouth Dennis, so we did not get a game in there yet. We got there and it was rained out.
Yeah.
So I believe those are the only 2 we have not officially had a game at.
Yeah, now luckily we have another game at YD towards the end of the season. It's one of our last games, but we'll be heading over there at the end of this month. And then Orleans, we're actually going to be heading there in isn't it the next, not the next couple of days, but pretty soon, if I remember correctly.
I believe so. I'll have to double check the schedule. I believe it's our only trip to Orleans in the season.
Yeah, the only team that we play more than twice from the East Division is going to be YD, actually. They're the only team out of the East Division that we're going to play more than twice. We get them 3 times.
Count 1-1 to Blackwell. I'm excited to see the Orleans field. I've heard good things about it.
Orleans, no bleachers at their field. It's all just It's all just one big grassy hill, and I'm excited to see that field. It's a beautiful field from what I've seen from pictures.
All the fields around the Cape League are unique, and a lot of them set behind schools or kind of behind, as part of sports complexes that we've seen. So right here next to us at McKean, there's a soccer field to our right, a little practice facility right behind a high school. All of them very unique in their own way, different dimensions. The 1-2, popped foul again. And that can make it difficult for some of the outfielders especially to get used to kind of how the field plays. We know here the outfielders have mentioned there can be some tough hops in the outfield.
Yeah, I was walking along the outfield at some point. Lots of clumps of hard grass out there that really makes it seem more of like a turf feel. And I've talked to some of the outfielders. The way that the ball bounces, we've seen some huge hops coming off of those ground balls. And the outfielders have said it's like playing on turf. It takes some unusual hops for grass.
Marc Adamiak walked the leadoff batter, but is retired the next two, and there's 2 away. He's 1 strike away from getting out of the third without a run coming across. Goodhart on second. Blackwell at the plate. Adamiak comes set. Takes a look at the runner at second, the 1-2. Fans him on the fastball to end the inning. A nasty pitch from Adamiak retires the side. We head to the bottom of the third. Hyannis trailing 5 on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Back here from McKeon Park for the bottom of the third inning. But before we get underway, a quick word from our sponsor, Curry College. Earn a bachelor's degree or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. In-person and high-flex classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, accounting, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
You know, the more of those reads that we've done this season, I'm actually starting to like the sound of Curry College. It sounds like a good place to go, you know?
Thinking about transferring up north?
Nah, not enough time. If it was earlier on in my college career, maybe, but I'll be graduating in a couple months, so might as well just finish it.
Well, it sounds like the Curry College ads are working.
Yeah, they are. It's kind of catching my attention, actually.
Ryan Romano digs in for the first time tonight. He's quickly behind 0-2 in the count. Romano at second base tonight. We've seen him at second and short this season. He also played a little bit of third for Florida State. Donovan Benoit back on the bump for his third inning of work. The 0-2. Thought about it, but held up did Romano. It's a called ball on the outside part. 1-2 the count. Curry College also has a banner in right field, as does Dean College, my Bulldogs. Amongst all the other sponsors here at McKeon Park.
You know, Milton Cat, we have a read from Milton Cat. Franklin, who actually gives all the teams custom-made batting gloves.
We're very thankful for all the sponsors of the Cape Cod Baseball League, which allow these players to have the best season possible, as Romano goes down looking for out number 1. The 6th punch out of the night for Benoit.
Yeah, another beautiful pitch, and as you've said, 6 strikeout, and now 2.1 innings pitched, and a great outing from him so far tonight, honestly.
He had a little bit of a rough start to the season and a little bit to the ball game, but he settled in here nicely after the 2-run home run from Pujols in the bottom of the first. You mentioned his stats earlier in the game, Lincoln, how we thought that the Harbor Hawks could jump out on early on Benoit, and they did. He had allowed 7 runs in 8 1/3 innings coming in, but he's locked down here, and he's been missing bats early.
And since that home run from Pujols back in the first, Benoit's retired the last 5 that he's faced. So that home run was the last hit back in that first inning.
Caden Rose now hits a slow chopper to third, picked on a hop and thrown on to first by Locklear. Retires Rose for out number 2.
Routine play there from Locklear over at third base. A good job, honestly, from Rose being able to still hustling it out. We've seen a couple times, especially at that major league level, on some of those routine plays, they'll just jog it out, sort of better luck next time sort of thing. But Rose doing a good job of hustling it out just in case something does happen. We've seen a couple of times where what looks like a sure out turns into a doable play where you could get on base. And so a good job of just hustling it out.
Clark Elliott digs in now for the second time in the ball game. Went down on strikes, looking back in the bottom of the first. Elliott's been solid defensively for the Harbor Hawks, looking for his first hit of the season in his third game, the 1-0. Thought about going around. They'll check at third base with third base umpire Ryan DeMare, and he says that Elliott did not, in fact, go around. It's 2-0.
Oh, now Austin, we've mentioned the Rangers a couple of times, their organization here. Benoit, actually, it doesn't mention what year he was drafted in it, but he was actually drafted in the 36th round by the Rangers.
There you go.
A few years back.
So many players in this league, if you look into their bios, we talk about it when they come to the dish, have already been drafted, which shows you how much talent is down here in the Cape Cod Baseball League, because a lot of these guys are going to get drafted again. Some of the guys have already left to go prepare for the draft even further. Adam Hackenberg, the catcher from Hyannis, has left the team to go do some private workouts and get himself prepared for the draft. Trey Braithwaite as well, one of the Harbor Hawk relievers.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of players leave to play for both Team USA and just get ready for the draft across the league. So they will be missed, but I'm especially looking forward to see who the new players will be.
Clark Elliott, one of those newbies, has drawn a 2-out walk, so it puts the Michigan outfielder on first with 2 away. For Kyle Ball, the Stetson shortstop, 0 for 1 on the night with a strikeout is Ball.
Now Elliott on first, on base for his first time tonight, actually. First time tonight, of course. First time for the season as well, as he's playing in his third game of his season, I believe.
He was activated on the 4th of July, made his first start on the 5th of July. The count 0-2 to Kyle Ball. Benoit comes set, delivers the 0-2. It's hit on the ground between first and second. A sliding play. The throw from his knees is in time. What a play by Chatinier to end the inning. The Harbor Hawks strand 1 as we head to the top of the 4th. The top of the fourth, just moments away from McKeon Park. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill here with you in the broadcast booth as Marc is back on the hill for this fourth inning. Caleb Pendleton fires down to second as we get ready to begin. It's the top of the order due up for the Firebirds. Chatinier, McKenzie, and Cox. Three very dangerous hitters.
Yeah, Chatinier, as we know, started the game off with that solo home run back in the top of the first. That's home run number 3 for his season so far.
Adamiak works from the stretch here to start things off. The first pitch to Chatinier is popped up. Pendleton flips the mask. Greer goes over to give it a look as he heads towards the fence. It's out of play. No chance to make a catch on that one. Good 10 feet out. 0-1 the count. Chatinier, 1 for 2 on the night. Lincoln, you mentioned the solo home run to lead us off. The second leadoff solo home run of the year here at McKeon Park. The first coming from Blake Klassen earlier in the season. That was in game number 2, I believe, of the year for Cotuit. Or was it Falmouth? I'll have to double check that. The 0-1 in the dirt for a ball.
Wait, now which one was that? Were you talking about?
The Blake Klassen home run.
Blake
to lead it
Klassen.
off.
Yeah, that was against Cotuit, yeah.
That was the win, actually, for the Harbor Hawks. As we mentioned, the solo shot, you could come back. And the Harbor Hawks did go on to win that ball game, 7-4.
Now, Klassen, I'm actually surprised. Since that game where we won that second game of the season, since then we've played Cotuit 2 more times, and Klassen actually has not been in the starting lineup for either of those games since then.
He impressed here.
Yeah, he did.
A solid night, a pair of hits against the Harbor Hawks. Chatinier ahead in the count 2-1 on Adamiak. No action in the Harbor Hawk bullpen. There are a couple of relievers standing. That one's hit on a line in between third and short for a base hit. Chatinier has his second hit of the night as he leads off the inning by reaching safely.
Good, strong line drive there from Chatinier right between man and ball over at third and short, and just a good hit to start us off here.
That'll bring up Jared McKenzie, the left fielder. McKenzie on the night is 0 for 2. He does have an RBI on the line after grounding out to bring a run home. Third RBI on the season for McKenzie. Adamiak comes set, delivers. McKenzie showed bunt but pulled it back. It's called a ball. 1-0. Action in the Firebirds bullpen as a right-hander begins to throw. Adamiak looks in, gets the signs from Pendleton and comes set. That one is lined straight back off the netting, right behind home plate. 1-1 the count. That's where the scouts sit. You can see straight down below the broadcast booth. The MLB scouts have that bleacher reserved just for them so they can get a good read on the pitches coming in from the pitchers. McKenzie at the dish looking to put a ball in play as that one's popped foul out of play off towards the parking lot here at McKeon Park. It just evades hitting a car.
Parking lot, a dangerous place to park if you're close to the field. Not very high netting around McKeon Park, and lots of foul balls end up going into that parking lot nightly.
Chatinier does have good speed at first. He has 2 stolen bases on the season, somebody to keep an eye on over there. The count is 1-2 to McKenzie. Pickoff move by Adamiak, diving back safely is Chatinier. We've seen our fair share of stolen bases here at McKeon Park this season, Lincoln. We've seen 2 tonight from Caden Rose on the Harbor Hawks. He has now 5 on the year. See him out in center field on a typical basis. Count 1-2 to McKenzie. Pickoff move once again, and once again diving back safely is Chatinier. It's Mason Greer at first tonight, as previously mentioned. Ryan Romano at second, Kyle Ball at short, Luke Mann at third with Caleb Pendleton behind the plate in the infield. The 1-2. Misses high for a ball, 2-2. Damiak is settled in nicely here. As a left-hander gets ready to go in the Harbor Hawk bullpen, it's Jalen Nowlin firing some warm-up tosses. We've seen Nowlin a couple times recently. Last Wednesday in Falmouth, he also got a start earlier in the week. The 2-2. Runner thought about going but held up. That ball is hit towards left field. Hardigan is camped under it. He makes the catch for out number 1. Retreating to first is Chatinier.
Nice easy grab for that first out from Hardigan out and left, and just had to move a little bit over to his left to make that catch, but a good catch nonetheless and a good first out. Good job to keep Chatinier camped over at first base.
Connor Cox digs in for the 3rd time in the ballgame. 0 for 1. He reached on a hit by pitch in the 2nd and scored a run. Runner on first is Chatinier after the leadoff single. 1 away in the inning. Damiak comes set. Long pause from the righty. The pitch. Misses high for a ball. Pendleton thought about a snap throw to first, but just deked the runner back as Greer was ready for it. Mason Greer does a good job of covering that bag in case Pendleton decides to come down. Connor Cox is eligible for the MLB draft, one of a few draft-eligible players here on the Firebirds squad, has another pickoff move, the 3rd of the inning, to keep Chatinier at bay at first.
Now Cox coming to play from Long Beach State. Known for his great hands out in the outfield, and 106 chances this season for Long Beach State. Did not have an error recorded.
Wow, that one's laced into the left center field gap. It's going to get down for extra bases. Chatinier is being waved home from first. Holding up at second is Cox, and scoring is Chatinier as the Firebirds tack on another. It's going to be 8-2.
Very well hit ball there from Cox. That landed perfectly out in the left center gap, just far enough from Rose and Hardigan to where they couldn't get to it till it was already at the wall, and that was just open running for both Chatinier and Cox.
The 5th RBI of the season for Cox brings home Chatinier, and there's still 1 out in the inning. That brings up Chase DeLauder.
DeLauder from James Madison University, who, if I'm not mistaken, it was James Madison who actually made a really good run in the Women's College World Series this year, didn't they?
I believe so.
That was them that made it to semifinals, I believe, and they got knocked out by Oklahoma, who ended up winning the World Series, actually.
If you're going to get knocked out, it might as well be by the team it goes to win.
Of course, yeah, exactly.
I'd rather have that happen.
And they had a win against Oklahoma to start the tournament, actually. They knocked Oklahoma to the elimination part, and then they ended up, as we know, losing to Oklahoma in that elimination game, where Oklahoma ended up moving up to the championship.
Chase DeLauder back at the plate for the 3rd time tonight. 1 for 2 with an RBI double. 8 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Firebirds as a pickoff move to second, and they got him.
Wow.
Damiak with a great move to get Cox leaning. So that's out number 2.
That was very unexpected. Cox just seemed to be frozen out there in his leadoff spot out there by second base, and unexpected outcome, but hey, out isn't out and is out, right? Out isn't out isn't out. There we go.
There's 2 away in the inning, and Damiak working himself out here. Looked like a little bit of trouble could have been brewing. 1 run has come home, but all things considered, not too bad of an outing for a Damiak, who fired a scoreless 3rd, recorded an out in the 2nd. The 1-1. That ball is hit well high and deep to right center field. Rose is going to give it a look, but it is gone into the trees to right center field. A solo shot for Chase DeLauder expands the lead 9-2 for the Firebirds.
DeLauder leads the league with 5 home runs, now 6 home runs this season. And it's easy to see why. A powerful bat, and as soon as that ball left the bat, you could tell that it was out of here. A massive shot there for DeLauder, and he now just extended the Firebird lead even further.
The 2nd solo home run of the night for the Firebirds. And the balls are flying out of McKeon tonight, the third home run between the two teams. 9-2 now, Firebirds. Tyler Locklear digs in. He's swinging at the first pitch. Foul tips it, hung on to by the catcher Pendleton. Would have been strike one either way. Locklear is 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. That ball was really well hit to right center. Showing you some of the pop that some of these guys have in the league.
And like I said, as soon as it left the bat, just the sound that it made and just watching it soar out in the outfield, there was little doubt that it was going to be out of here.
Adamiak ahead on Locklear, 0-2 the pitch. Popped up. It's going to sneak over the netting, out of play. So the count will hold where it is. (0-2), 2 outs. 2 runs home in the inning for the Firebirds. An RBI double by Connor Cox and a solo homer by Jake DeLauder. Or Chase DeLauder, rather. The 0-2. That ball's skied to right field. Back on it is Elliott. He's at the warning track and makes the catch to end the inning. The Firebirds strike for 2. We head to the bottom of the 4th on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Bottom of the 4th, ready to get going from McKeon Park. Austin DeCouta, Lincoln Revill here with you in the broadcast booth. The Orleans Firebirds lead the Hyannis Harbor Hawks 9-2. Not the ideal start for Hyannis. They were looking good after the bottom of the 1st. It was a 2-run home run by the man standing at the plate, Marcos Pulhos, which put them on top. But unfortunately, the lead did not last long as 6 runs came across the plate in the top of the 2nd. 2 more just came home in the top of the 4th to bring us to where we are now at 9-2. That pitch by the new pitcher Philby is fouled off by Marcos Pulhos. It's the right-hander Jack Philby coming on to relieve the starter Donovan Benoit. Benoit went 3 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs. It was pretty solid, Lincoln, striking out 6, for Benoit.
Yeah, Benoit definitely made it hard for the Harbor Hawks to get hits, as you mentioned, only 2 hits. And they scored 2 runs off of those hits, but as we can tell, a commanding lead for the Firebirds and a great job from Benoit tonight.
Pujols goes down on strikes to start the inning. So Philby introduces himself with a nice breaking ball to retire the first man he faces.
Yeah, and that outside pitch has gotten quite a few Harbor Hawk batters swinging so far this season, and that's just one more to add to the list. Marcos Pujols down swinging for the first time tonight, down in general for the first time tonight with that strikeout.
That'll bring up Mason Greer with one away. He checks his swing, but it's off the bat anyway for a foul ball, strike one. Greer, as we've mentioned, is the son of former Major Leaguer Rusty Greer of the Texas Rangers. Rusty has been in town this weekend. We welcome the Greer family to Hyannis as that pitch misses for a ball, 1-1 the count to Greer. Greer swinging the bat better as of late. Had a single last night, as well as drawing a walk. He's put together some solid swings in batting practice. He hits that one back up the middle. Blackwell is there behind second. The throw to first is in time. A play that's not necessarily routine as he was in shallow center, but Blackwell does a good job of making it look routine and retiring Greer for out number 2.
Yeah, if Greer would have hit that one just a little bit closer to second, I think that could have gotten through for a base hit, but it was just close enough to Blackwell to where he could get it and make quite an impressive throw over to first.
That'll bring up Caleb Pendleton, the catcher. First pitch to Pendleton, a curveball at 72.
My goodness.
I mean, that dropped about 2 feet into the zone.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Lots of break on that one.
The 0-1 to Pendleton, another breaking ball, but this one misses outside. 1-1 the count. Philby on the season. 6 innings pitched, 10 hits, 6 runs, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts. So teams have been able to get to him in his 4 appearances. Pendleton pops it foul, the count 1-2. Caleb Pendleton joins the Harbor Hawks this summer from Jensen Beach, Florida. He was actually born in West Chester, Pennsylvania. Another athlete whose favorite pro team is the Rangers. He hits that one on the ground to third. The throw to first is in time by Locklear to end the inning. The Harbor Hawks go down in order. Before we get to the top of the 5th, we're going to check in with our sideline reporter, Taylor Farmer, who has some more information on the Harbor Hawks transitioning from the Hyannis Mets to today's Harbor Hawks. Let's send it down to Taylor.
Thanks, guys. In late 2008, Major League Baseball announced it would enforce its trademarks and required teams in the Cape League who shared a nickname to either change their name or strictly buy uniforms and merchandise through an MLB licensed vendor. In 2009, Orleans and Chatham changed their name, and in 2010, Hyannis followed, changing from the Hyannis Mets to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks due to the amount of osprey or fishhawk who routinely nest atop of the light fixtures around the ballpark.
Thank you very much, Taylor. Some valuable information, as always, to help us understand why the Hyannis Mets changed from the Harbor Hawks. We'll be back for the top of the 5th in just a moment on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Six, 7, 8 due up here for the Firebirds as it's Goodhart, Marcano, and Guillemette due up. Matt Goodhart on the day has had a solid night. He's 0 for 0, 2 walks, a run scored for the first baseman. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill here with you in the booth as a new pitcher is on the hill for the Harbor Hawks. It's the lefty, Jalen Nowlin. Nowlin from the University of Alabama. Has a 3-pitch mix, a fastball, a slider, and a changeup. He's been great this season for Hyannis. The second pitch of the inning is down the left field line for extra bases. Rounding first on his way to second is Goodhart. He slides in safely for a leadoff double.
Perfect placement from Goodhart right down that third base line, out of reach of Hardigan. And Hardigan had to cover quite a bit of ground in order to get that ball, but it left enough room for Goodhart to get into second on a sliding double. Good piece of hitting to start us off.
On the season, Nowlin has fired 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. It was unearned. 5 walks and 10 strikeouts, so has not allowed an earned run to this point. With nobody out, leadoff man on second. That brings in Julio Marcano. That ball is popped up. Back behind first, drifting into foul territory. Greer, Romano, and Elliott are after it. Elliott tried to make a sliding grab, but couldn't hang on. Would have been a tough play. Impressive that they were all able to cover that much ground, but it's drops for strike one.
Yeah, it was a tough play. A sliding attempt there from Elliott out and right, as you mentioned, Austin. Very tough play. He had it in his glove, but ended up tipping it and just falling to the ground. Very unfortunate play for the Harbor Hawks. Now Marcano at the plate in the Cape now, as I mentioned earlier. Got some action last summer with the Amarillo Sod squad out of the Texas Collegiate League, along with his twin brother David, and both Marcano brothers actually with pretty heavy bats, good gloves out in the field as well. Good all-around players, both of the Marcano brothers.
Julio hit .338 with 9 homers and 40 RBI at his collegiate season this year. The 1-1 fouled off. Count moves to 1-2. Leadoff man Goodhart stands on second after his double. The DH Marcano is behind 1-2. Jalen Nowlin on the mound. He takes over from Marc Adamiak. The pitch. Fans him on an off-speed pitch. 73 on the off-speed for out number 1.
With Nowlin, we've seen a couple of strong outings from him this season, and after giving up that leadoff double, a good at-bat to come back on, striking out Marcano, and a beautiful pitch to strike him out on as well.
1 away in the inning. That brings up Guillemette. Garrett Guillemette, the catcher. 0 for 2 on the night. He did reach on an error in the second inning. He later came home to score. Popped up to second base in his last at-bat back in the top of the third. Nowlin ahead 0-1. Long pause as Nowlin regroups on the mound, and we'll get the signs once more from Pendleton, the catcher. Gets a look at the runner at second. Nowlin comes home with a breaking pitch in the dirt and just misses, hitting Guillemette on the feet. 1-1 the count.
Good job from Pendleton keeping that one in front of him. He just got his glove on that one in time, able to stop that one from heading to the backstop and allowing Goodhart to get over to third.
1-1 with 1 away now. Pitch from Nowlin, misses outside for a ball, 2-1. Firebirds came into town tonight with a 6-5-2 record and have spotted 9 runs in the first 4 innings tonight. Looking to tack onto their lead here in the top of the 5th. The 2-1 inside for a ball. The count moves to 3-1.
Guillemette, the communications major at USC. Not USC, SoCal, correct? Southern California?
I believe so. Well, there's also some people call it South Carolina at USC as well.
Yeah, there's South Carolina, Southern California. I'm not sure which one it is.
Guillemette is from California, rather. That one's grounded to third. Nice play by Luke Mann for out number 2.
Good stop there from Mann over at third. 4 out, number 2. Harborhawks able to keep Goodhart over at second and a chance to end this inning without any more damage to that 9-2 deficit.
In steps the Dayton shortstop, Blackwell. 1 for 2 on the night with an RBI single and a run scored. His Dayton teammate Marcos Pulhos with the 2-run home run for Hyannis. That pitch is in the dirt, blocked by Pendleton. Won't get far enough away for Goodhart to advance to third, so he'll hold it second with 2 away.
Pendleton proving, once again, as you mentioned, Austin, one of the better catchers in the league here this summer. He's been a stonewall back there. He's had a couple get past him, but he has not. They haven't been easily past him. He's been able to get in front of those up to a point. A couple of them have taken bad hops, but a good job from him just hustling after every ball.
The 1-0 from Nowlin, grounded back to the mound off Nowlin's glove. It's going to trickle too far away, so reaching base safely is Blackwell. Bad luck play there for Hyannis.
Yeah, an unusual hop there. Nowlin tried to pick that one off of his glove, and Romano was actually on his way to back up that attempt from Nowlin, and Nowlin ended up poking that one to where Romano could have been, but instead that moved just a little bit too far.
In steps Peyton Chatinier, the leadoff man, so we're back to the top of the order. Chatinier 2 for 3 on the night, the solo homer to lead us off, and a single. He also scored after reaching on the single, so 2 runs scored on the night. First pitch to Chatinier, misses, or called strike. Delayed strike call, but a strike nonetheless.
I actually heard a little bit of a yell out there. I thought they were about to call a balk on Nowlin, but luckily ended up going the other way.
The count 0-1. That one's hit hard on the ground to third. Luke Mann picks it up. The throw on to first across the diamond. Pulls Greer off the bag. He tried to tag Chatinier, but unfortunately could not. It's an error on Luke Mann, his second of the night, and a run does come home to make it 10-2.
Unfortunate play there for Mann. That throw ended up just a little bit too far outside for Greer to make that tag, and instead of a third out, the inning is extended, and the Orleans lead is also extended, now 10-2.
Runners on first and second now with 2 away. Jared McKenzie at the plate. 0 for 3 on the day with an RBI. First pitch from Nowlin. Line back off the netting, 0-1 the count. The Bat Boys have been busy behind home as usual, retrieving the foul balls. No action in the Harborhawk bullpen and none in the Firebird bullpen either. Cooper McKeon just stood up and put his glove on. We'll see if he begins to get loose for Hyannis. The 0-1 to McKenzie. Misses outside, 1-1 the count. The only Thursday game of the year for Hyannis tonight. Typically the off day for most teams around the Cape League. Had Tuesday off, did the Harborhawks. Were in action last night in Brewster. Hyannis suffered a 12-0 loss at the hands of the Whitecaps. The 1-1 from Nowlin. Hit on a line down the third base line, but out of play. Fielded up by Nolan Crisp out in the bullpen. The only remaining member of the back nine bullies.
Yeah, disappointing. Only one bully now.
Crisp and Trey Braithwaite, I guess, nicknamed themselves the back nine bullies for their performances in the latter part of the ball game. The 1-2 from Nowlin. Misses outside. The count moves to 2-2.
Yeah, if y'all want, y'all can go to our YouTube page, the Harborhawks YouTube page, and check out that interview that our sideline reporter Taylor Farmer did with both of them. If y'all figure out exactly what that means, please let us know, because we're having a little bit of trouble figuring out just exactly what that means. We listened to the interview. We were there in person, actually, but we're still a little bit confused.
The 2-2 is an off-speed pitch that's flown off towards the parking lot and out of play.
I think that missed all the cars, but it might have gotten close to hitting a window at the high school, actually. But I think everybody's okay.
Count will hold at 2-2 to Jared McKenzie. 2 away in the inning. Blackwell on second, Chatinier on first. The 2-2. Just misses. Pendleton held it for an extra couple of seconds to give Patala an extra look at it, the home plate umpire, but the count moves to full at 3-2.
A magnificent pitch there from Nowlin, and we've seen that strike called a couple of times, but tonight, or that pitch at least, just a little bit too far inside for the likings of Patula behind the plate.
3-2, 2 away. That means the runners will be in motion on the pitch. And with good speed at first, Chatinier could score from first on a ball hit to the gap with him in motion. Nowlin and Pendleton had a little conference at the mound to get the signs. The 3-2. Jammed him. It's a shot over to second. Romano comes in and makes a catch in the air to end the inning. The Firebirds add one more. We head to the bottom of the 5th. Back here for the bottom of the 5th inning. Before we get the Harbor Hawks to the plate, I want to take a minute to tell you about the Birds the Word podcast. For your weekly review of everything Harbor Hawks, subscribe to the Birds the Word podcast. Hosts Harrison Meyers, myself, Austin DeCouta, and Lincoln Revill break down all the action from the past week, interview players, coaches, and the people behind the scenes to bring you everything you need to know to be in the know. New episodes drop every Friday, so make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting app today. Mitchell Hardigan stands in as he fouls the first pitch back off the catcher, Guillemette. Hardigan 0 for 1 with a strikeout. That came in back in the bottom of the 2nd inning.
This is Taylor, sideline reporter. To the people watching, I'm Matt. Hello. My friends over here just started.
Hardigan from Florida Atlantic University. In 2021, his sophomore season, ranked 3rd on the team with a .318 batting average. Also had 19 doubles. That one's in the dirt. 2-1 the count to Hardigan.
Clemson Tiger right here. She knows Trevor Lawrence.
2-1 the count. Wind up and the pitch. That one misses outside.
Lincoln misses you too.
Jack Philby back on the hill for his 2nd inning of work. Came in relief for Benoit. That one is hit up the middle by Hardigan. Broken bat. The throw on to first by Chatinier is in time for out number 1. 4-3 on the putout.
And I thought maybe that might have had a chance of going through, but Chatinier being able to get in front of that one and make the out for out number 1, a good first out for the Firebirds in this inning.
That'll bring up Luke Mann, the 3rd baseman. He went down swinging on strikes in the bottom of the 2nd inning.
Make sure that it's pulled over. Next time I'll
The curveball misses outside as it slips out of the hand of Philby for a ball, 1-0.
stop it.
The windup and the pitch. That misses low. A little bit of a misty, foggy night as the lights became a little bit more difficult to see. Not too much of a difference, but
Yeah, it's gotten a little bit thicker as the game has gone on. Now that the lights have come on, you can see some noticeable mist coming down from the sky.
3-0 the count to Luke Mann. Red light or green light here on 3-0?
I'd say hard red light. Hard red light. I'm
Never going to say green?
I will rarely ever say green light on a 3-0 count.
That misses for ball 4. It's a 4-pitch walk to Luke Mann. So the Harbor Hawks have a base runner. Philby had retired the first 4 batters he faced. Allows Mann to get on for Ryan Romano, the 9-hitter. Romano 0 for 1 with a strikeout on the line today. He made his season debut a couple weeks ago in Harwich. In a game he had 2 singles and 2 RBI. The first pitch to Romano is a breaking ball that misses. 1-0 the count. 5 straight balls issued here by Philby. You think you take until you get a strike at this point?
Oh, of course, yeah. If after a 4-pitch walk, you want to make the pitcher throw you a strike before you even think about swinging again.
Well, Romano decides to swing a diving stop at third. The throw to first is not in time. A heck of an effort by Locklear at third to even get that ball and knock it down. But Romano reaches base on the infield single, so runners at first and second as the Harbor Hawks look to put something together here in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, that was almost a fantastic play from Locklear, and I think if he wouldn't have thought about going to second with that ball first, I think he would have been able to get the out at first base. But instead, he took a look over at second, took a little bit of extra time getting that ball out of his glove, and it proved to be a little bit too long as he allowed Romano to reach first safely.
Romano does run well. Gets down the line, good for an infield single. Caden Rose digs in. We're back to the top of the Harbor Hawk order. (0-1) to Rose, the Alabama infield outfielder. Plays multiple positions. Can't connect on the fastball. 0-2. Rose is behind. He's 1 for 2 on the night with a single, 2 stolen bases, and a ground out.
I think with that swing, he might have been wanting to match Pujols with his home run earlier on. I think he might have been trying to go for his first one of the season.
Rose has been one of the most consistent players all season for Hyannis, and manager Gary Calhoun had a lot of praise for the young outfielder. The 0-2 misses for a ball. Calhoun just talks about how tough of a player he is, how consistent it is, and how mature he is. And we saw last night Rose went to rob a home run, and Rose said it was in his glove until he hit the ground, and then it ended up on the ground as it popped out. And Caden flipped over the fence, landed up on his back, and then jumped right back over like nothing happened, was ready for the next play, but he goes fishing at a breaking ball in the dirt and strikes out here for out number 2.
A nasty breaking ball from Philby in order to get Rose out. Rose leads the team in on-base percentage, but as we saw, just couldn't find a way on base for that at-bat.
Looks like we'll have a pitching change here as Philby's day is done, as they're going to bring a left-hander on to face the left-hander Clark Elliott. A pitching change at McKeon Park means we'll take a quick break here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. 2 away, 2 on here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Clark Elliott gets ready to dig in as a new pitcher on the mound for the Firebirds. It's the left-hander, Jake Somm. Somm has made 5 appearances so far on the season, making his 6th here in the ballgame. He has 1 save, 7 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks, and 6 punch-outs for the lefty. They bring him in to face the lefty, Elliott, who hits a soft liner in between short and third. Going to be a tough play. Blackwell's throw across the diamond, not in time. So Elliott gets his first hit of his Cape Cod Baseball League career on an infield single, and that loads the bases here with 2 away.
Now, can we talk about that throw coming in from Blackwell at short? Holy cow. That thing had some speed on it. That was a dart thrown from deep in that shortstop gap. And he almost got it there in time. It looked like a sure play, but he made it close.
Good arm at shortstop, and that's a play. I thought he was going to just eat it, but he just decided to give it a shot. And that brings up Kyle Ball, the shortstop from Stetson. He takes a called strike. Bases loaded here for Hyannis. Not completely out of this ball game yet, Lincoln. The score 10-2. One swing of the bat could go a long way to closing that gap. The 0-1 to Kyle Ball. He hits that ball well to left field, but it's going to curve foul out of play. That may have had the distance.
Oh, that looked good.
Ball just got out in front of it too much. The count 0-2.
Oh, man. Unlucky. Unlucky.
So you can wait on that breaking ball a little more. Man on third after walking. Romano on second after a single, and Elliott on first after an infield single. The 0-2 to Ball. He hits that one down the right field line. It's curving towards the line. It's going to fall for a base hit. Man isn't to score. Here comes Romano. They're going to hold Elliott at third. It's 2 RBIs on a double from Kyle Ball. And Hyannis brings home 2 in the bottom of the 5th.
Beautiful, beautiful piece of hitting there from Ball. He reaches second. 2 runs come in, 2 RBIs for him in that one hit. And honestly, I think that Coach Calhoun at that point, call me crazy, but I
set. He'll check his runner at first. Fires, and that one's grounded. Foul off the shoe of Locklear, so 1-2 the count. For just joining us, Cooper McKeon takes over on the hill. Got Cox to fly out to center to start the inning. DeLauder singled, and now that brings up Locklear. Firebirds lead the Harborhawks 10-4 here in the top of the 6th inning. Austin DeCouta, Lincoln Revill here with you in the booth. 1-2 the count. McKeon gets the signs from Pendleton, come set. Stares his runner down at first. The delivery inside, and Locklear thought about going around. McKeon's got a good breaking ball that comes in backdoor on right-handed hitters. 2-2.
DeLauder at 6'2", 230 pounds. The sophomore out of Martinsburg, West Virginia, currently at James Madison University.
McKeon comes set. The 2-2. Inside, got him swinging. Nice breaking ball from McKeon for 2. 2 away in the inning.
Good little out there from McKeon, being able to get that strikeout for out number 2 here. And if they can leave that runner stranded on first, that would prove to be a really good inning for the Harborhawks here.
Runner goes from first. The throw from Pendleton to second skips in.
Ooh.
Not in time. A stolen base for DeLauder as he moves up into scoring position with 2 away.
DeLauder just showing off his wheels once again as he has his first stolen base of the night.
Matt Goodhart at the plate. He is 2 for 2. A single, a double, and a walk. He's also scored 2 runs. The count 1-0 to Goodhart. McKeon gets the signs from Pendleton and comes set as the mist and the fog roll in here at McKeon Park. Called strike is McKeon. finds the inside part of the plate. 1-1 the count.
Yeah, Austin, it's getting harder and harder to see those outfielders for the Harbor Hawks. Harder to see the numbers on the scoreboard out in right field. And some of the fans here, the stands have started to clear out as some of the fans trying to get out of that mist that's coming down a little bit harder than it was earlier on.
The 1-1, a breaking ball that misses inside. 2-1. All things considered, Lincoln, it's been good to see the Harbor Hawks bats come together here. 4 runs in the game so far, 5 hits. We saw a 2-run homer from Marcos Pujols and a 2 RBI double from Kyle Ball. So the bats are starting to pick up a bit.
Yeah, seen some good things offensively for the Harbor Hawks. The error is a little bit higher than we would want them to be, but overall a very good outing so far in tonight's game.
The 2-1. Nice pitch from McKeon, a breaking ball. And Goodhart was way out in front of that. 2-2 the count. Top of the 6th, the Harbor Hawks plated 2 runs in the bottom of the 5th. McKeon looking to strand the runner at second base and fire a scoreless top of the 6th. McKeon comes set once more. Checks his runner. The 2-2 on its way. Popped up out of play off towards the school in the parking lot. Count will hold at 2-2.
Strikeout here would be huge for McKeon, or just to put out in general, get us back on offense, hopefully score some more runs. Momentum is on our side, I would say. After 2 runs in that last inning, we're down on the scoreboard, but I think momentum is on our side.
Another good breaking ball from McKeon, but Goodhart lays off. The count moves to 3-2 with 2 away. The ferry horns blast as the ferries pull into the harbor just down the road here in Hyannis. The 3-2 from McKeon. His ball 4 just misses inside. So a 2-out walk puts runners on first and second now, with Julio Marcano coming to the plate. Marcano on the night, 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. No action in the Harbor Hawk bullpen as a couple of guys standing. Looks like they might start stretching in the Firebird bullpen. We'll see how that develops. Called strike as McKeon steals the outside corner, 0-1.
Yeah, Marcano with a relatively quiet bat tonight. As you mentioned, he struck out. He had a ground out in the 3rd, but that's about all we've heard from him.
Count 0-1. McKeon fires. That one's lined back up the middle for a base hit. They're going to send DeLauder from second. The throw in is not in time. It's up the line. So it's an RBI single for Julio Marcano. And right on cue, as we say, he had a quiet bat. It's an RBI single to play to run.
Yeah, and of course it's me that says it. And of course, another jinx to add to the season.
It happens.
Harrison, if you're hearing this, you might as well just fire me now, because I apparently am bad luck for the team.
I wouldn't call it that. Yeah, the luck will turn around at some point.
Fingers crossed. Otherwise, I may not have a job next summer.
Garrett Guillemette digs in, the catcher. 0 for 2. 0 for 3, actually. He did score a run after reaching on an error. He's behind 0-1 to Cooper McKeon. Taking a look at what's ahead for Hyannis. Friday, tomorrow, we head to Bourne to take on the Braves. Saturday, July 10th, home versus Wareham. Sunday, July 11th, away at Wareham. Then Monday and Tuesday, home versus Bourne. And then Wednesday, away at Bourne. So over the course of the next 6 days, the Harbor Hawks only see the Bourne Braves and the Wareham Gatemen. 4 against Bourne, 2 against Wareham.
Very similar little series of games to what we saw just a couple weeks ago, where we had that series of games between Catuit and Falmouth, where we went sort of back-to-back with both of them as well.
The Bourne Braves in first place in the Western Division. The 0-2 from McKeon. A nasty breaking ball freezes him for strike 3. The inning is over. The Firebirds do get 1, but McKeon strands the next 2. We head to the bottom of the 6th from McKeon Park. Back in a moment on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Bottom of the 6th inning, ready to begin for McKeon Park, but Lincoln Revill, you're getting ready to take on the play-by-play duty, so I will hand it over to you.
Thank you very much, Austin. Once again, as always, a fantastic job for the first half of tonight's game.
Thank you.
For the next 3.5 innings, I'll be taking the reins here, and on a foggy, misty night from McKeon Park, Mason Greer steps in to lead us off here in the bottom half of the 6th as the first pitch from Jake Somm comes home. That is a called strike for strike one, and we're underway here in the bottom of the 6th. Greer currently at 0 for 2, went down swinging in the first, and since then had a ground out back in the 4th. Pitch from Somm, that one misses outside. 1-1 the count. Harbor Hawks currently trailing 11-4 against the Orleans Firebirds. Firebirds in 3rd place in the East. Meanwhile, the Harbor Hawks in last place in the West, 5th place out of 5. The 1-1 misses outside. 2 balls and 1 strike now the count. Greer, formerly of McLennan Community College out of Waco, Texas, now transferring to Missouri State. We've mentioned that a couple of times. As the 2-1 outside, 3 balls and 1 strike to count. Now Greer, of course, looking for something to hit here, but has to be kind of selective about what he goes for.
He did hit the ball well his last at-bat. It was up the middle, but unfortunately Blackwell made a great play on it.
And the 3-1 misses down low, an opening walk for Greer. He reaches for the first time tonight in that opening walk here in the bottom of the 6th.
Back-to-back nights where Mason Greer has reached base safely. Good patience at the plate. He's starting to put it together, I think, and you're going to see him go on a little bit of a run.
Yeah, Greer adding on to that .212 on-base percentage, as now with the runner on base, Caleb Pendleton is going to step up to the plate, and that is actually not Pendleton. That is
Ryan Proto going to pinch hit for Pendleton. We saw Proto pinch hit last night as well and catch an inning. Pendleton had a long night behind the dish tonight, Lincoln, as he was blocking balls left and right.
He was, and we saw him get bruised and battered in the past couple of outings that he's had, and definitely the rest that he's getting in the dugout, definitely welcome for him, I'm sure. The 0-1 is fouled off. Proto looking for his first hit this season in his 2nd game, as Austin mentioned.
Yeah, he hit a ground out last night, made solid contact. We'll see what he can do. He's a local kid from Centerville.
Proto has been the bullpen catcher for the Harbor Hawks up to last night. And he got activated on the active roster before last night's game, as the 0-2 on the inside is a called strike 3. Proto goes down looking for out number 1 here in the 6th. As with 1 away, 1 runner on, Mitch Hardigan is going to step up. Hardigan 0 for 2 as well with a strikeout. He went down looking in the 2nd. And then in that 5th inning, ended up with a ground out over to 2nd to start that 5th inning off. Now Som, the southpaw, comes home with the first pitch. That misses down low and away. Brings the count 1-0 with 1 out. Hardigan came into tonight's game with a 171 average. That's gone down a bit as he lofts that one into center field for a base hit. That's going to drop just outside of the infield, as that is a 1-out single for Mitch Hardigan. Greer extends up to 2nd, and runners now on 1st and 2nd for Luke Mann coming up to the plate.
Good piece of hitting there by Mitch Hardigan, and good to see him getting a hit off the left-handed pitching. We know how tough lefties are in this league against left-handed hitters, and just a good job by Hardigan. Not trying to kill the ball, just put it in play, and good things happen.
Now with 1 away, Luke Mann at the plate. Mann over at 3rd base. Been very good at 3rd base for the Harbor Hawks. The hot corner not phasing him. Som ready to go. Takes a quick look over at 2nd base before coming home. That one misses on the outside. Count goes to 1 ball and no strikes now.
Careful, Lincoln. You almost lost your phone over the ledge here in the broadcast booth.
I did, yeah. A little bit of a shout out to those watching on Instagram. I have a little bit of a live going right now. If y'all end up looking for Instagram, go ahead and go follow me, Lincoln.Revill. Go ahead and view that live while you're at it. Endorsing myself here.
I'll leave that all up to you. I'm not a big social media guy.
I try to post as much as I can, just to sort of keep everyone updated. Although, and then in class as well, they say that one of the things that you have to be in this profession really is you have to be active on social media. Be sure to keep it updated. That way, not only people like that you follow can see, but also prospective jobs, like employers, they could look at your social media just to make sure. The 2-1 outside. Brings count now 3 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, you'll get 1 post out of me a year.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'll post some more baseball-related highlights on Facebook more regularly, but
yeah,
not as much on the other social media apps. And social media has actually been good for baseball, too. We've seen guys go famous on social media for throwing in the upper 90s and then all of a sudden get signed to minor league deals.
That one's a long drive out towards right center field, nearing the wall, and that's going to one-hop off the wall. That's going to bring Greer around 3rd, and then that's going to be Hardigan coming in right behind him. Throw it home will not come, as that scores 2 more runs for the Harbor Hawks. An RBI double for Luke Mann, and the Harbor Hawks inch closer, now down 11-6 here in the bottom of the 6th.
Terrific piece of hitting by Luke Mann as he doubles in 2. Got a pitch on the inner half of the plate, and he did not miss it. Just one-hopping the wall, and you saw the good speed there from Mitch Hardigan coming home to score all the way from first base, and the Harbor Hawks inch a little bit closer, and that's going to prompt a pitching change.
New pitcher will come in for the Firebirds, the Harbor Hawks, with a lot of runs so far, a lot more than we've seen in prior games, especially in the past couple of days. But we're going to take a little break as the new pitcher gets ready here on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network. Back here, top of the 6th, coming back up, a new pitcher on the mound for the Firebirds, Connor Housley. Now coming in on the bump in place of Jack Somm. Housley, 6'4", 200 pounds, out of Tyrone, Georgia, at the University of Tennessee. As he brings that first pitch home to Ryan Romano. Romano takes a hefty hack, but he can't connect. 0-1 the count.
Lively fastball coming out of the bullpen. And I talked with manager Calhoun about that before the game, and like he said, it's so difficult for hitters in this league. It's more of a pitcher's league because you have a starting pitcher that might only go 1 or 2 innings, or for some teams, an opener, but at most it's usually 4 or 5 we've seen this year. But then it's 4 different guys out of the bullpen, all throwing in the mid-90s and all with different pitch mixes. So it's so tough to score runs off bullpens because a lot of the guys have said that too in this league. Zane Harris said it, in the college level, there's a little bit of a dip in bullpen from starting pitching. You see, a little bit of a weaker bullpen in a lot of teams, but here in the Cape League, the bullpen is just as good, if not better, than the starting pitching you're seeing.
Yeah, it's easy, I'd say. Whenever your starting pitcher goes multiple innings, those hitters, as we've seen so many times, start to line up to their pitches and start to expect those pitches as their outing goes on. And like you said, just from the bullpen, lots of different pitchers, all with different throwing styles, all with different arsenals, and it can be very difficult. The 1-2 coming in, misses up and in. Evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Romano. Romano at 1 for 2. Struck out looking in the 3rd and had a single in the 5th. He ended up coming home as well. One of the 2 runs in that 5th inning. Harborhawks trailing 11-6 here in the 6th, as that one in the dirt. Meanwhile, Luke Mann a couple pitches ago was able to extend over to 3rd base, as there was a pitch that ended up getting away from Gil Met. So now Mann stands 90 feet away from scoring the 7th run on the night for the Harborhawks. Here's the 3-2. Big swing and a miss there on full count. Romano goes down swinging for out number 2. And that's going to bring Caden Rose back up to the plate. And Rose, as we know, Austin, leads the team in on-base percentage, and he's been very efficient in being able to get on base this season.
Yeah, he's 1 for 3 in tonight's ball game, 2 stolen bases. But when he's getting on base, good things tend to happen for the Harborhawks, as he has good speed on the bases. But not only that, is when you can lead off the inning with him getting on, that's a good sign.
He lofts that one back towards left field. That's going to be DeLauder settling under it and making the catch for out number 3. And the home plate umpire motions something to him, and we may end up done for the night. I'm not sure. Going to hold on here as he's going to head over and tell the Orleans coach a little something. And Calhoun over at 3rd just shrugging his shoulders there. It is a little difficult to see the outfield, and if they end up calling it early,
we'll see what they decide. Looks like they're going to have a little discussion.
Yeah. All the umpires starting to come together here. The coaches coming together with them as well. We'll see what exactly happens here. An extended little talk from the umpires coming in. The verdict looks to be just moments away. And we're going to go to break as we wait for what exactly will happen here. But we'll be back on the Harborhawks Baseball Network. Stay with us for the 7th. And we are back. Judy Walden Scarafile Field at McKeon Park, Lincoln Revill, alongside my partner, Austin DeCouta. And a little bit of an unusual call here. We're in a fog delay currently at McKeon Park. Harborhawks currently down 11-6 against the Orleans Firebirds, but due to the heavy mist that we've gotten here recently, we're going to take a little fog delay. So it's going to be about a 30-minute wait at the least, probably. So we'll keep y'all updated around the 30-minute mark. But for now, we're going to take a extended vacation from this broadcast. We'll be back on the Harborhawks Baseball Network. And we're back. It wasn't half an hour for that delay, but it proved to be a little too much as we have now officially canceled tonight's game. It's canceled due to the fog, per se, mostly mist coming down. It's not going to get any better tonight, so that will do it for us here from Judy Walden Scarafile Field. The Harbor Hawks take an unfortunate 11-6 loss. We were on our way to coming back, but ended up not being able to make it through all 9 innings.
Yeah, that's too bad. The Harbor Hawks bats started to pick up, too. You had 6 runs come across on 7 hits, and I was excited to see what they could do there. But unfortunately, they'll have to wait till tomorrow to get those bats going even further.
Yeah, like we said, due to this season's new rule, this game will not be made up since it has been canceled. So this will go down as a loss for the Harbor Hawks because we have gone past 5 innings. Meanwhile, we're gonna end this broadcast. Be sure to check out our post-game show, Hawk Talk. That'll actually be happening just later tonight. That'll be posted later on tonight. But for now, for our producer, Matthew Lawrence Noah, for our Sideline reporter, Taylor Farmer, my partner, Austin DeCouta, I'm Lincoln Revill, saying so long from Judy Walden Scarafile Field. Good night